Hey everyone, Dave here, and I'm going to show off my ultimate bushcraft day kit in 2024. Down in the comments below, let me know what gear you would bring on a day trip for bushcraft. The bag itself is a Miltech 36-liter bag. The majority of it does get filled up with my camera gear and clothing. All these other items you could probably fit into a smaller bag if you wanted to. I just wanted to go over the cutting tools that are in the bag for this day trip. So I got the Haltiforce Haltan hatchet. And you could easily just, choose a Fiskars X7 instead of this. The Silky Gomboy, which is my favorite folding saw. And again, you could just use a simple gardening saw that you find at a hardware store. The Tops Bob, which is just the overbuilt, robust knife that is more of like a survival knife than necessarily a bushcraft knife. And then you got the Mora 511. And then these two knives complement each other really well. You got the overbuilt, thick, almost axe grind of a knife that does all the hard tasks. And then you got a really nice light carver with the 511, very thin in comparison to the Bob. And then you got the Kaiser Doma Mini. Not all the time am I going to be bringing like two fixed blade knives. Very often, I might just leave one of them out. I might choose to take just the more robust one. Or sometimes I might just choose to bring the 511 instead. Sometimes I'll just leave the axe out, and potentially I might not bring that, and I'll just bring this. Potentially I might not bring that, and I'll just bring this. Or I could just not bring the folder and then do something like that. So if I really want to cut down on weight, there's options. You could bring things like the Yukari Puko would be like my other choice. Condor Bush Lore. All those sorts of knives are totally fine. If you hear some noises in the background, there's probably people 4x4ing. I wanted to get my loadout over before I started exploring the forest. In this front pouch here, I usually carry my knife and bear spray on me before I put it on my actual belt. And I also have like a bungee cord if I want to hang my bag up. In this pouch here in the front, I got car keys. On my car keys, you can see that I have a little ferro rod striker there too as a backup. This top pouch here is where I keep my possibles pouch. It's nice and loaded right now. I also keep a flashlight. So the possibles pouch can vary a little bit, but typically I'm going to be bringing toilet paper, some mason twine, some jute twine, some paracord. I might have a separate cordage bag for all of this if I plan to do some shelter building. Just a little piece of leather to strop, a little sharpener, the Kaiser Doma Mini, little backup compass, ferro rod. If I don't have one on my belt or on my knife, I'll have a backup one. This is a Joker ferro rod off one of my Joker knives. And in here, I have a Bigfoot Bushcraft fire starter inside a definitely waterproof little tin here. A little roll of duct tape, pocket bellow for the fire. I have a jet lighter with some electrical tape around it, a little piece of steel wool for rust, $2 store fire starters, little compass and whistle with the thermometer. Some of these things might change a little bit. I might decide sometimes not to bring the sharpening tools. I might bring more cordage than this sometimes. The extra ferro rod might not come with me sometimes. I also created a free PDF for a Bushcraft Kit Checklist for people to use as a resource. So that is a Bushcraft Kit Checklist, and the link is in the description, and it's 100% free. In this side pocket here, this is simply just a pouch that happened to have some straps on the back that I paracorded to my bag. This just carries my stainless steel water bottle, which I have a little bail attached to it. And then I just have my stainless steel mug that is inside of that too. It's got a lid, and I can use that for cooking or for tea or coffee, whatever I feel like. This side here, I have two pouches. This is my survival pouch. So I have a container that has the majority of my survival gear in here. I have an extra spare lighter. I have Band-Aids. I have medication and pain pills, spare contact lenses, a little compass, a little extra flashlight, duct tape. I have a foil Mylar rescue blanket or a thermal blanket. I also just have some medical tape that I can quickly grab. And I have a contractor garbage bag that is very big and quite durable. I can do quite a lot with the foil blanket and with the garbage bag alone. And then I just also have a package of cream coconut. This is about 1,000 calories worth of food here. and it can be used as bait as well. If I want to save weight, I won't bring these items sometimes. The main item that I will bring always is this item here. These pouches are also quite easy to remove if I want to. They just simply clip onto the webbing of my bag. And if I want to, I can put this whole thing on my belt and then just leave the bag somewhere. This bottom pouch here is where I keep my solid fuel stove. You could also use a canister stove. I have them too, but I find that a solid fuel stove is quite packable. This is an Expedition Research LLC, a titanium fuel stove, and I have a little extra grill that goes along with it. I find that to put my water bottle and my mug, I need this on top of it. If I don't feel like making a fire and cooking using a fire, I'll use the solid fuel stove like this. It's also very lightweight, doesn't take much time fiddling around, and it's bomb-proof once you light these tablets. So I prefer to use a solid fuel stove. It might be more expensive, but it's worth it for me. In this pouch here, just be like a food bag. Today the food bag is really basic. I have just some trail mix, 2 granola bars, and some tea, some green tea there, just a can of sardines, and a apple. I just didn't feel like bringing stuff that I need to cook out today. If I decide to use a Bushcraft grill, this is a Drix Outdoors Bushcraft grill. This is a bigger one. Sometimes I like to have a bigger one than the smaller grill that I have down in the stove pouch. The Expedition Research grills are also good too. I like having a variety of sizes to bring with me. This is an optional item. Some simple gardening gloves so you don't get splinters, and some more like mechanic style gloves that I cut the fingers off. 1, so I can use my camera, and 2, you can feel your tools better. So when you're grabbing your knives and your axes, you just have a better purchase on it. You can also use leather gloves or hide gloves for the fire because they are more fire resistant than using these gloves here. Also in that pouch, because I'm blind, I do carry glasses and contact case. In this back part here, I carry my camera gear inside a dry bag. You could use your dry bag for other stuff. I usually always have a hat as well as a toque with me, and a hand towel is useful. These kind of are optional items, I would say. Neck warmer. You know, this is a pretty good little comforts thing that if you were lost in the forest, it's very small and packable, and it would definitely help you survive a night. So as far as spare clothing, like it would be toque and neck warmer would be like my first things on my list. This is a mattock from Canadian Tire, like a Yardworks one, or a pick. Some people just think this is a pickaxe, but it's a mattock head. And basically I cut the handle to about like 15 inches to make it a lot more packable. And this is just like a shelter building tool. If I feel like doing shelter builds for a day trip, this is definitely an optional item. This is not something that everyone is going to be using on a day trip. But if you want to build some shelters or do some digging and that sort of stuff, this little tool here is pretty cool. A small shovel would also be something to consider. I carry the Silky Gomboy for my saw in this back pouch here. I have just rain gear, pants, and jacket. And then I have a very simple 6x8 tarp. That is just a hardware store tarp. I think this one came from Amazon, honestly. And I find that for day trips, I only need like a small tarp. I don't need something that large. In the back of the bag, I always have a knee pad / sit pad. This is just a dollar store one. Very useful. It also keeps the backpack a little bit more rigid. All right, there you go. That's pretty much the bulk of the interesting stuff that I bring with me. I hope you liked the video. I hope it gave you guys some good ideas out there. See you on the next one.